All right, welcome to individual challenge number 7. Let's look at number 1. The daily low temperature for 3 days was 5 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees Celsius, and negative 3 degrees Celsius. What was the average temperature for those days? So what we need to look at is at the word average. What is another word for average? Another word is mean. The definition of mean and average are you're going to add up the numbers and divide them by 3. Divide them by how many numbers we added. And looking at this, because it says 3 days, and they gave us 3 numbers, we're going to add these 3 numbers, and then at the end, we'll divide it by 3. So let's take these 3 numbers, 5 plus 4 plus negative 3. Don't forget your integer rules, because we are in integers and we have a negative number. So don't forget your integer rules on how to add. Okay? So then, once you get your final answer, you need to take this answer and then you will divide it by 3. Once you divide it by 3, you should get your final answer for number 1. All right, let's look at number 2. A rectangular trampoline has a jumping surface that is 10.3 feet long and 9.2 feet wide. What is the area of the jumping surface? Okay, we need to look that this is a rectangular trampoline. And it is 10.3 feet long and 9.2 feet wide, right? The question is asking for what is the area. So we need to figure out the area. Okay? Who remembers the formula for area of a rectangle? Your area is going to equal length times width. Okay? So we know it's 10.3 feet long. So let's take 10.3 and multiply it by 9.2. Okay? So once you find the area of that, you will have question 2 done. Okay, let's look at number 3. Last week, Gina's art teacher mixed 9 pints of red paint and 6 pints of white paint to make pink. So the art teacher, 9 pints and 6 white. Okay, now Gina mixed 4 pints of red and 3 pints of white to make pink. So this is what Gina did. Now we got to figure out, it said, did Gina use the same ratio of red paint to white paint as her teacher? Well, let's break this down. The teacher ratio, okay, let's put this in words first, red to white. Her ratio is 9 to 6. Okay? Gina red to white was 4 to 3. Okay? In order to figure out if Gina used the same ratio, you need to take this ratio and simplify it. Okay? Once you simplify it, if it equals Gina, then they are equivalent and she did use the same ratio. But if it's not equivalent to Gina, then she did not use the same ratio. Okay? Let's look at number 4. It says write the numbers negative 2.1, negative 156, negative 1 2/3, and negative 2.2 in A over B form from greatest to least. Greatest to least. First of all, this is important to know. This is the way we're going to go. Greatest to least. Okay? And we need to put these all in A over B form. So let's first start off with, we have negative 2 and 1/10. So this is 1/10. And this is -2 2/10. Okay, the reason why I'm changing these into fractions is because they want it in A over B form, which is a fraction. Okay, when you get -2 2/10 and simplify it, you actually get -2 1/5. Okay, so now that we've changed it all into fractions, each fraction we have to go around the world, okay? So let's go around the world with this one. -2 times 10 plus 1, you get -21 over 10. Okay? When you take 6 times -1 plus 5, 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 is 11. You'll get -11 over 6. Okay? When you do 1 times 3 plus 2, you'll get -5 over 3. Okay, and then whenever you do 2 times 5 plus 1, you'll get -11 over 5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite all these numbers over. They're too squished for me. I like to be organized, so I'm going to write them over here. And I'm going to look at them. First of all, I cannot put them in greatest to least form yet. I have to find the common denominator. Okay, looking at 10, 6, 3, and 5. I can tell that their LCM, which is the least common multiple, will be 30. Okay. 10 times 3 equals 30, so we need to do 21 times 3, which will give you 63. And remember, it's a negative number. 6 times 5 equals 30, so we have to do 11 times 5, which will be -55. 3 times 10 equals 30, so we have to do 5 times 10, -5 times 10, which is 50. 5 times 6 equals 30, so now we have to do -11 times 6, which is a -66. Now that we all have the same common denominator, we can put these in order from greatest to least. Just remember, with negative numbers, the further away from 0 it is, the smaller the number. The closer to 0 it is, the greater the number, okay? That's just in the negative world.
Teachers, please pardon the interruption. At this time, could everyone please check their email for my last message? Thank you.
All right. Let's check out number 5. Okay. It says write each fraction as a decimal and as a percent. Okay. Percent. We know that percent is always out of 100. Okay, so let's take 144 over 200 and get it to 100. Okay, how did we get from 200 to 100? We have to divide by 2. Whatever you do on top, you have to do on bottom. So let's take 144 and divide it by 2. You should have gotten 72. So in this case, you have 72%. Okay? Now to turn this into a decimal, you're going to use your DP method, your Dr. Pepper, and we're going to percent to decimal. That means we're moving our decimal to the left 2 times, right? So here's 72. Here's our decimal, and let's move it 1, 2 to the left. So for the first problem with number 5, it's 72%. and 0.72. Okay, so I'm going to let you figure out the rest of number 5 on your own. Okay, let's look at number 6. What is the median for the data shown in the stem and leaf plot below? Remember, median. The definition for median, it's the middle number of the order lot. Okay, so I need you to take and find, since this is already in order from least to greatest, your stem and leaf plot is already from least to greatest, I need you to find the middle number of the order lot. Okay, while we are still talking about median, I'm going to tell you that your math lab code for today is your mean, median, and mode. Okay? So make sure you have this on your paper so that you can get your 10 extra points. All right, let's look at number 7. The point where x and y intersect at a coordinate plane is called x and y intersects, okay, at the coordinate plane. So I'm going to draw me my coordinate plane. Okay, I'll draw it over here. This is my x-axis, and this is my y. Okay, and where they intersect is right here. So I need you to go look into your journals and tell me what that point is called. Okay, number 8, it says write an equation that expresses y in terms of x. Y in terms of x. That means I should have y equals a number and x. Well, your x is hours. So this is going to be like 2 per hour, okay? Your x is hours, so this is going to be 2 hours. 2 hours times what? Your dollar amount will get you 20. 5 times what will get you 50. 7 times what will get you 70. So that means it should be how much per hour? Okay, how much per hour? So I should see how much it cost and x. So I should have y equals a number and x right here. Okay. Number 9. It says describe the spread, center, and shape of the data distribution in the dot plot. I need you to refer to your journal. Your journal has notes that was glued in, and it says summary of data distribution. Okay, let me give you a glance at my notes. Okay, oops. So here are my notes about my summary of data distribution. Okay, it tells me if there's an outlier, the spread of it, your peak, if it's symmetrical, your cluster, your skew. Everything on these notes right here will explain your spread, center, and shape. So take a look at the notes and then describe it for me. Okay, last one, number 10. Jason plotted points on a number line for the values. Which of these values is furthest from 0? Furthest from 0. Okay, so we need to take all these numbers and either change it to fractions or change it to decimal. Okay, so I'm just going to do this one with you. I'm going to take 2/3 and change it to decimal. Okay, I'm going to change them all to decimal. So 2/3. Who rocks the house? The top dog rocks the house. So 2 is going to rock the house because it's the top dog. And we're going to put a 3 right here. 3 does not fit in 2. So we had to take our decimal, shoot it up, and add our 0. Right? 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. So I'm going to subtract 2. Bring down a 0. How many times does 3 go into 20? 6 times. Right? Subtract 18 and you get 2 again. It looks like this is going to be a repeating number. So I'm going to take this and round it. So we're going to say it's 0.67. Okay? So 2/3 is 0.67. 0.67 for now, okay? Really, it's 0.6 repeating. Okay, so next I need you to take 7/8 and you turn it into a decimal. It should zero out, okay? It should zero out. When you are done, I want you to make a number line. This should be 0 and this should be 1. Okay? And then I want you to plot your decimals on here. Once you plot them, then I need you to figure out which decimal or fraction is furthest from 0.